the question is, when we teach the classical applications of snake, a lot of the applications are joint locks and throws and grapples.
Yeah.
And the natural question is how do you deal with somebody who's throwing in
a jab?
Jabs and rapid fire punches, who's standing off. How does it respond to that?
Yeah.
And so a lot of martial arts that focus on this neglect, or at least it's seen as a shortcoming.
They'll neglect to deal with the fact that someone could do that. They just assume that you're both going to be grappling.
Yes.
There's going to be close combat rather than the long range kind of stuff. Well, there are the two aspects of snake work with this as well. So the standing off kind of this long low stance, and it's using its own kind of jabs.
Yeah, I mean,
Then there's that question of, well, how do I get in and do those joint locks and throws and that kind of stuff. And what we were talking about beforehand was that you use the flick and these kind of like movements to get you into that position where you can start to work on the.
Right. So if I were to shoot out what I
would be like a jab,
kind of like a jab.
So and then if I move and your arm's pulling back, so then I can't go like it's difficult for me to grab.
Exactly. That's what they say. You can't grab a moving out.
That's the problem that we're looking at. Really, is that I can't really get hold of that. So how do we get into the locks and throws and the close control if someone's going to do this?
Throwing stuff like that.
So that first movement that we were looking at earlier. So here, I put this into your face to make you flinch, and that makes you recoil slightly, and the arm stays out. So at that point, that's where I can start to get some kind of control on the.
Once you're there, you're in the range that you like to work in.
I was teaching that to Daniel. I was saying that like what I said to him was throw a punch. I said to
without
him,
that, you will think about this hand.
But I said what I said to him was like, if you throw a punch out, and say you just shift, or if I just shift my head, then you would pull that back in, so you can do something else.
Xing Yi would really
but
do
the
that,
difference is if you throw that punch out and I go like that, into your eyes, then your arms stay stretched out because your body's going. Oh.
Also, this will never reach you.
As well. It's a natural reaction to pull back but leave the arm out.
Yeah.
So as you do that, there's the moment you can take hold of it.
Yes, I hadn't thought about the fingers. I was just focusing on the elbow.
But even the elbow,
if you got that's even better because it means you're in range.
To make you go like this. Yeah. Like just when you did it to me, so I threw you did. I just said, whoa.
Yeah, and then you can pretty much do what you like.
Do what you like.
Yeah. So, but my point was that. So we do the first one, we're like this.
Yeah.
And we do the first one, and it's sort of like. This is the secret bit, not the secret bit. This is the bit that makes it work, the distraction, and this is the coil.
The coil, yeah.
And then we've got the split.
The split, yeah.
When we do the second one, I'm still doing this bit as though it's aggressively distracted.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, but it's like the other extreme.
Yeah.
Almost to the point of being a different application.
Because like if you throw a punch with this, sometimes I'd use it like that.
Yeah.
To get.
So I mean, also I'm sort of going this way, but the distraction goes over here. Yeah. So you end up with a less nice lock. You end up with a jam and a strike, something like that. Yeah. It's not as clean as
but like there, you can still jam and then there, and you've still got you've got that locked out. Now I might try and pull out of it, and that's it.
And in fact, this here, I can't do a full one, but I can still wrap up like that.
Yeah.
And then you're back into this again.
Back into that again, yeah.
So there's actually asymmetry in that snake thing. Yeah. I just assumed for some reason that they were the same thing.
Yeah, no, that's really good observation.
But then that's not surprising because we've got the asymmetry at the start of Bear Eagle. We've got the fact it's all spears and swords, which are all asymmetrical.
Yeah. Cool. One thing that we talk a lot about is the new the bind and strike. So even there, I didn't feel like I'd really got a good lock.
Yeah.
But even if you pull that out, there's just enough kind of friction there for it to, and then bang, I hit you with something else. So even if I don't get that wrench on the arm or something, it's enough to make you react or whatever. But it's that there that makes you like, oh, back away. You see how your arm started to...
Yeah, my arm is doing exactly what you need it to. Yeah.
And the one that you were showing was that you don't even need to stick the fingers out. It's just... So if I throw the jab at you, which hand do you?
I was just doing the right jab.
The right jab. So even that, you put in that elbow.
It comes across the eyes as yours did, but then even more desirable is to actually be able to close the range. So this is also the check.
Yeah.
So
and then that's making me. Yeah.
You've got any number of things. You've got a simple sort of jam.
Yeah.
Followed by more.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the sophisticated.
The twisting and the.
Yeah.
And that where it binds and twists the arm up. Yeah.
But it occurred to me after we were talking about this that this is the other strategy of snake.
Yeah.
The yang snake throws these jab-like things to achieve the same end.
Yeah.
And it's a distraction in the same way that this is a distraction in order to achieve this. The jab, and even in boxing, I'm sure boxers will say that it's a distraction for the big right.
Yeah, because usually what you get in boxing is they train jab and then cross.
Yeah.
So they get like the jab with the weight back and then the cross they step onto the foot to land it. So the jab acts as the bridge there.
Yeah. And it makes you think, oh, jab, and you miss the big one. Yeah.
So if we think about it, the yang snake, the flicking and the jabs that snake does itself, even in this bit, this is kind of
that's yang snake
aspect of yang snake.
Yeah.
So the yang is setting up for the yin, and then if the guy escapes from the yin, you go back into the yang.
If the yin is imperfect, if I've just got a jam or something on, not a lock or a finishing thing, then immediately you tense up. Yeah. You kind of forget that the other hand's there.
Forget that. Yeah.
And then you've got the bright coming out, which sets up the next thing.
Yeah. So you're constantly moving from yang, yin, yang. Yeah. Depending on how the situation
within a single strategy. Yeah. And it's incomplete without the other.
Yeah. And what you're not showing is that there could be strikes in there as well. So as I'm trying to get away and pull something out, and then there, the elbows. Yeah. The elbows like bound me up, but then it could come back into the side of my head.
What I don't want to do is to bind. And with the intention of keeping it there. Yeah, so if I bound up there, that was a great one. That was a finishing elbow. Yeah. But then you'd immediately pull out. I could try and lock down.
Yeah.
But I don't want to.
And then it just becomes us fighting over.
Yeah. But I don't want to. I want to let you go.
And then you hit me on the way.
And then I've got this opening. Yeah. So we never oppose force with force. So we try to work with what they're giving us. Yeah. But often that leaves us in a better position.
Yeah. I mean, the other one that we were talking about was the first movement is like here, and then drawing in, you get that, and then you come down. But then when we move on to this, you've got the split, which we're not really talking about. But on the second one, you were saying that this drawing in movement, you're using that in the same way.
Yeah.
So you've got that asymmetry between that first one and the second one.
Yeah. It's a dual purpose all purpose movement, and you can use it in different ways. How you sort of represent that in the link can vary from one extreme to the other. Yeah. So we're talking about because the way I've done this. So when I was taught it was literally just down the zip.
And down. Yeah.
And they sort of meet at the top.
Yeah.
And then the weight lands.
Down.
Yeah. That's the sort of the basic version I was shown first.
Yeah.
Then I've started to use Dragon Body more, and that adds in this kind of idea of turning it this way and then this way, and so it ends up actually either scooping this way and down, or depending on the Dragon Body, it could scoop this way and come down.
Could scoop then.
So you might be using the Dragon Body movement. If you do a right, I might actually be taking it this way, and coming on the inside this way. Yeah. Or I could actually be coming. How do we do it? If we do it on this, I come this way and turn this way and come down. I've actually opened up the hand and got away from the other. And then
It's
that would
got
be
that
coming in there.
strike into the ribs there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's this thing. It could also be obviously a
Yeah,
armband,
an
if you like
armband.
it,
Yeah. Also, if you've got that and you've opened that up.
Yeah, so talk about this one this way.
Yeah, you've turned that, and my natural reaction would be to turn towards you. Which is just going to put me in the firing line.
There.
For
But I've also got the elbow raised all the time for that upper punch. Even a lower punch.
Yeah,
I can roll down this way.
Yeah. And you'd be probably expecting me at that point to turn away and pull this arm out.
Yeah.
And maybe go for that. And that's what you're saying. That immediately you're getting put. You're following through into a position.
That is very
into there with the elbow. Yeah.
And that's actually in our link where we stand.
Listen.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that we just noted when we were talking about the distraction, which I just remembered, is this kind of inbuilt cleverness as well, because the distracting hand invariably follows its arm.
Yeah.
So the idea that it's actually coming, it's not coming in through vision.
Oh, no, it's coming from outside.
It's coming from low,
yeah.
where you can't see it, and then straight in.
Yeah.
Pretty much a straight line, shortest distance between 2 points, but it's coming in from this kind of.
Yeah.
And so all of these elbows and all these things, they come up from the bottom.
Yeah.
And same thing with this elbow in the strike, it comes up.
Yeah.
In this sort of arc.
Yeah.
And it's hiding from your peripheral vision.
Yeah.
So it's kind of inbuilt cleverness that you sort of.
Yeah, you see this in the legs as well. When we say like the step, like a gin step as we're stepping in, it's just straight into a Chuan kick there. So there's no pulling up, chambering or anything. It's coming from way below your peripheral vision. You might not even see that. You might just think I'm making a step. And yet all I need to do is just raise it, and I've got a
Xing Yi
kick into your instep.
I use it
really
all the
sneaky.
time. Because it's so easy to adapt any step, any advance into a kick. And you can, and again, it's that yin and yang. You can use the kick to cover the step, or you can use the step to cover the kick. And they both sort of create each other. All right.
So here, into the eyes. I'm going to twist down here. Hand's going to cut through into his face, and I've controlled his leg as well. There, take him down.